We've taken a lot of the suggestions that you've given us over the years. What we're trying is we've heard a lot of suggestions that have high school have time on their own. We've had suggestions of extra time for leadership. And so this time we're trying something new where we're going to have the second, third year CSOs be able to work together as a cohort. But today is just you guys. And we really want to empower you to be the leaders for the new students coming in. And so a lot of the work you're going to be doing today is to pave the path for what's going to be happening with the first years based upon the knowledge that you have, especially third years. You've been here, this is your third time going around. You're now experts, second years, you're experts. You know what's happening in your schools. We want to figure out the best way to make this happen. So remember what happened last year? Who do we have as a visitor? How many of you were at the Institute last year? Can any of you remember who we had visit us? Chief Technology Officer from the White House, Megan Smith. And so she's actually going to be back. We have her via video conference, but she is going to patch in again with us. Anybody remember anybody else?
Isn't the Honeywell guy from last year, the owner from Honeywell?
That's right. We had Bob Whitworth from Honeywell. Who else? Who do you remember?
Last time we had a female pilot who showed us her experiences as a leading sentence.
Was it at Honeywell, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And at the end, who else do you remember? Orbital ATK. So remember we had visitors coming from places like Oregon and San Diego that check us out. We had the White House looking around at us. This year I love to embarrass our visitors just to let them know. But this year we have two special visitors already in town coming to visit us. The first is Sandy Welsh, where she's at. She's right here. So anybody heard of the National Science Foundation? Does anybody know what the National Science Foundation does? No? What do you think?
From what I've read, I know the National Science Foundation is about advocating for STEM and STEM innovation across the country.
How's that? That's part of it, right?
Related. We fund basic scientific research. So if you go into the science field and you want to conduct research at your lab or your university, you write a proposal to us and we give you funding. But we also fund projects like this.
So the coolest part is that the National Science Foundation, they don't fund very many projects. They want to fund example projects around the country to really show how you can take an idea and make it disseminatable, hopefully grow it. They funded this project because of the work that you guys have been doing with chief science officers in the past few years. So that's a huge testament to your work. So because of this exposure that you've been getting with the projects, what you've been doing, we were part of this video competition, and we had people from around the world look at what you're doing, and one of them reached out to us. Her name is Lila. Is it Al-Husseini? Layla. So Layla.
It's easier.
Layla?
Yeah.
Layla is all the way from Kuwait. And so she's actually looking with the idea, what if we actually had chief science officers all the way across the globe that you could work with and start working on opportunities across the globe. And we've actually been talking with people in Mexico too. And so how cool it'd be is if you actually see a worldwide conversation about science and technology. So what I really want to emphasize is the work that you guys are doing is really meaningful and impactful, and we want you to take this seriously. I want you to keep the fun side of being students. You're authentic, and I think that's the part that really people resonate with, is that you're going to say what you have in your mind, and you really are real, and we want to bring that out. And so what we've done this year is brought in experts that can help with different areas. So you've already met Alenka, so thank you for coming. And Alenka is one of the strongest people I've ever met related to leadership. And so we're like, hey, let's see if we can bring her in and help enhance what we're doing with you for leadership. And then we brought in another person. Her name is Dr. Holmes. And we found this awesome idea. Has anybody ever heard of improv? Anybody tell me what improv is? What do you think?
It's doing something without planning ahead.
Doing something without planning ahead. What do you think?
It's basically just doing something on the spot.
Mm-hmm. So why do you guys think that might be important as being a chief science officer to do this sort of thing?
You can never predict every single question that someone's going to ask you.
Right, you can't predict what's going to happen. Anybody else say?
Maybe if you're doing an experiment and it doesn't go quite right, you can just go with it.
Mm-hmm. And so what we're going to test out, and so this is hopefully, we want your feedback, is trying to use this idea of improv in terms of setting the stage for the first year CSOs coming in and using some improv skits. And it turns out Dr. Holmes is one of the world experts at doing science improv. So what a great fusion with this. And so we really wanted to try this out with you in terms of the programming. Tomorrow we have a group that has this idea called Mind Riot. Interesting name. They're from a museum in Utah called the Leonardo. Has anybody been there? I've been there either. It's a phenomenal museum in Utah. Hopefully I'll be able to go up there one of these days. But they actually have developed formats to help people come up with strategic planning ideas, which you know we've done a lot of. And so we have a lot of really awesome guests. So to start us off, I want to introduce Dr. Holmes. So a lot of what we want to do is let you know about the background of who's coming to work with you. And actually Dr. Holmes' background is similar to mine. She has a PhD in cell biology from Tufts Medical School in Boston. She stayed in Boston area for her postdoctoral training at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Harvard Medical School. She then joined Boston University, where she is a research assistant professor, where she founded the book Cell Biologist's Guide to Modeling and Bioinformatics. She is now an adjunct professor at Arizona State University. She is founder and director of Improvscience, a consulting company that has worked with over 2,500 scientists across the country at Harvard Medical School, University of California, Berkeley, University of California, San Francisco, Department of Energy, National Institutes of Health, American Chemical Society, and the Optical Society, just to name a few. So we're now adding to that amazing list of groups as the Chief Science Officer. Through her company, she brings the power of improvisation and performance to STEM professionals to develop a culture of collaboration and ongoing play within and around science. As chair of STEM for the UX program of the All-Stars in New York, she brings scientists together with youth and adults from poor communities to break down barriers to access and education in STEM. Throughout her career, she's worked to bring people of all kinds of backgrounds together to create a better world for everyone. She sees scientists, including you, as playing an important role in creating that possibility. So thank you, Dr. Holmes, for being here. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. And a round of applause to you guys again for showing up. It doesn't have to be for me. I was really excited when I met Jeremy and learned of this program, in large part because I'm very emphatic and supportive of young people developing their voices to provide leadership to the kind of country and world we want to live in, and that includes science. And thank you to Amanda for getting everything working on the slides. It's beautiful. Today, in this session, you guys are going to be sitting there for not very long. It'll be like 10, max 15 minutes, I hope, sitting there listening to me with a brief presentation. But really what we're doing is we're celebrating your diversity, your experiences. You've already done a year of being a CSO. You guys are the ones who are writing the book, and as Jeremy said, you guys are the ones who are saying what matters and what's helpful to you. Wow, how often does that happen? I think that's actually the opening slide, right? It's like, how often does it happen that students are asked, what do you think? So we want to keep asking you, what do you think? And we want you to keep telling us. And you are now in a position to share your experience. That can be exciting and that can be terrifying. It's true. So we have dedicated this session and the session that happens after lunch to giving you support to creating your voice and our voice for what it is to be a CSO. Okay, so we're going to spend a little time here, and then that's an example of some of the exercises we're doing. But I wanted to start, or continue starting, by giving you something that we ask of you, something of who we are, right? So when we're in this session, we're kind of asking you to develop a way of talking about how you serve as a CSO, what it means to be an ambassador for STEM. Why do you like science? Or what do you think is interesting about science? Like to actually say those things straight out. Again, could be exciting, could be frightening. So I grew up in Sonoma County. It's in California. This is the house that I lived in for at least 10 years. And I say Sonoma County proud because Sonoma County is a really mixed place. It is white, it is Hispanic, it is a very small amount black, I am black. Native American, and Filipino, and Asian, right? So it's a very mixed group, and we're mixed politically. And we're mixed in terms of our religious opinions and locations. We're all over the map. But I love where I grew up, and I love the people that I grew up with. I think all of them and all of us have a right to live a very full life, right? So this is my background. This is my mom, German-Irish, my dad, African-American, my 2 sisters. I did not give my sister that black eye. I promise you. But again, what I wanted, so growing up, and you guys are in the middle of this, that question of like, who are you gonna be? What are you gonna do? That question comes up all the time. And I wanted a way to have who I am and who my friends are. And I was a soccer player. I'm not in this picture. It was from my photo album. So other things that I am. I'm a soccer player. I'm a rugby player. I'm a political activist. I'm an improviser. I'm a woman. I'm gay. There's all these labels that we could add, right? You actually have huge numbers. And you're deciding at this point which ones you want. One that you've chosen is CSO. Awesome! You do that again. Awesome! Great, that's great. So this thing comes up as you're going along, and it says, well, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna, sometimes people say, well, you have to make a choice. You have to be just one thing or just another. I don't like those choices. I went into science because I wanted to be in a position as a scientist to talk about the best uses of science in our world. How to break down the things that are barriers, right? Right now in our country, everybody knows this, we're all trying to figure out how to talk in a different way to each other and how to invite each other to be friends and colleagues, to collaborate on things. And you guys are in a position to just take a leadership role in that, in what you're creating in your schools. And it can be as simple as, I want to do a science fair. That could be part of creating a better America, right? A place where everybody can play. So this is why Martin Luther King, right, inviting America to create a place for all people to be created equal, was an inspiration for me in terms of going into science after I'd finished high school. And I'm like, I want to change the world, and I want a job. I'm going to be a biologist. That's pretty much what it was. And the other thing, and so that's what I went on to do. And I just remembered why I put my friends, Lisa and everybody up here on this. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the school I went to. So you already heard my science credentials, right, at the beginning. So where did I go to high school? What kind of opportunities did we have? My math at my school went up to geometry. Pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry. There were 3 biology classes. I took all of them. There was 1 physics class, 1 chemistry class. We did not have science fairs. And the only reason I knew to go off to college to take classes on campus is because my dad was a history professor. So there was a linkage, there was a relationship that took me someplace new. And the reason I wanted to say this particular thing to you guys is, you guys come from very different schools. Your experiences aren't the same. We had 1 computing class. It was very early. Yes, I think we had the large floppy disk, not the small floppy disk, the large one. And so getting to know, you guys are experts in your location. What's happening at your school is different than what's happening at your school, than your school, than your school. What you have to create, who you have to work with is very different. And all of that's important because you guys are developing as leaders. And as you go on, this question of what is the identity of a scientist? What is it supposed to be? And so often, my mathematician friends get mad at me for this photo because mathematicians don't wear lab coats and use pipettes. They don't. It's pencil and paper or it's a computer. And sometimes they get mad about showing the computer because then you're a computational scientist. But rather than trying to figure out where am I gonna fit, right? So when Harry Potter puts on the hat, it's like, where do I go? Don't put me where. He had a choice. He made a choice. And even as he develops as a character, you get to see that he still has all these complex things that could still go into other houses. But he gets to make a choice. So do you. It doesn't have to be football or science. You could be, let's see if I went there. She's jumping ahead. John Urschel, National Football League, plays for the Ravens, mathematician at MIT. Oh, yeah, pretty awesome. Just love it. I haven't met him, but just the fact that he exists is pretty awesome. Right? And the other thing is learning more about our history. Who saw Hidden Figures? Okay. I thought it was awesome, right? And it was part of it, it's our American history. Everybody in there had these wonderful heroic positions that they had to buck against social issues, how things were normally done, right? So in some ways, when you're asking to do something new as a CSO, you're going to be asking to do something that hasn't been done. And you matter. How you do things, how you want to do things matter. And the question of how do you want to be a leader? What kind of leader do you want to be? What do you want to see happening? There are many different kinds of leaders in what you choose to do. And it turns out that creating change, particularly creating social change, is a performance. So actually, I wrote in here with Layla and Cal, and I have this very, gotta get to the group, I gotta get to the group, get to the group, get to the group. Gotta get to the group. I was like, was I not like this? I was not talking to them. I was not talking to them because I had to be here at 9, I had to be here at 9. And then I met Max and Megan, and they are our alumni assistants. And I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? Right? 2 completely different performances because I was doing 2 different things. When you're in different places, you do different performances. You guys are doing an awesome student audience performance now. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is the performance. You're like, this is a school-like setting. I'm supposed to sit here and look and be interested. That's the performance. You might not be interested, but you're doing a good job of performing interested. Thank you. Thank you. So a large part of what you're learning and what you're going to be doing with Zelenko, that you're doing in the future, is so important. The leadership development training that she's providing, that you're getting here, is the training that I'm trying to give scientists now at graduate school and in their jobs, because we haven't paid attention to this before. So you have this great opportunity. Yeah, exciting. So it's a performance. Why is a performance helpful? Because then I don't have to worry about, oh my God, I'm so shy, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I do that. Oh, I'm freaking out. Am I going to remember my lines? Okay, wait a minute. Up stage. Max and Megan are going to be my alumni assistants. I want them to feel secure and safe. I'm going to give a secure and safe performance. I hope I did that. They said yes, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to play together. We're going to learn how to not worry about ourselves, but how to relate to each other. Because performing is about being connected to other people. And it's interesting, so let's, and this particular quote, I think it's mine, but it's developing our ability to be ourselves with other people. And it's the other people that both help us to be ourselves and the way that we want to grow into being ourselves. And where we are now is we're curious, we're intelligent, and we're caring. And we don't want to lose any of that, right? So one of my other favorite pictures. This is why Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect is here because when did they sing the best? How many people saw the movie? Okay, I'm close. I got 50%. They sang best not when they were supposed to follow the rule, but when they were listening to each other and they were playing, right? And so it turns out that we do this gathering together. We do this playful stuff. These are my computer scientists at Richard Tapia Celebration of Diversity in Computing. But the very thing that makes it possible to play as a group makes it possible to work as a group. It's the same things. You're taking what people were talking about, the things that are around you. This is the MacGyver moment. The fact that you can sit in a room, look at me or anyone, and learn something is an improvisational, creative act. You do amazing work, because we say silly things. I'm sure, I imagine I've said 10 things that's like, what does that mean? But you make meaning from it. That's your creativity. So it takes a group, it takes playing and performance and slides that don't show well. for us to grow that ability. And this time, this play and performance, these are your pictures, is about you. This is the play. You're building things so you can learn and be a part of things. And that you're creating a community, and the word that's supposed to be here, what do you think it's supposed to be? Let's play. Let's play. Let's play. Let's find a way of creating your voice, your experience of CSO through play. That's what the improv is. And the improv, the tenets that I'm going to give you about improv, is it's about your partners. Actually, improvisers my other improv examples are soccer. Because when you play soccer, you're actually exercising different skills, but you never know what's going to happen. You have to be prepared. You have to practice. You have to rehearse things so that you can be spontaneous. Great teachers are improvisers. They're responding to everything in the room that's happening, and they're choosing a direction. You guys are here as a group. You're a new group. We're going to build a group. You're going to make your partners look good. So in that statement, I'm going to ask you to look around the room again. Oh, no, yes. Look around the room. Look at people. Look at these beautiful people. Yeah, that's you. Okay, look one more time. Now smile as the people actually look. Go ahead. Look again. Smile, smile, smile. Yep. These are your partners. You guys are going to make each other look fabulous. So now the applause is thank your partners because they're going to help you look fabulous. We work with everything that happens. One of the things that Amanda did that was fabulous is I could say, Amanda, I'm gonna trust you, and you're gonna make sure these slides get up for me, and we're gonna do something else because she's on my team and she helped me look good. And again, give Amanda another round of applause. Okay, that's my talk. I think that was 10 minutes. I hope that was 10 minutes. Did it feel like 10 minutes? About that? Did it feel too long? No. Oh, good. Okay. Well, so our job is, again, to help you create presentations, oh my God, that you're going to give tomorrow about what it is to be a CSO, right? And we'll be using these brochures in the afternoon session after lunch, all right? But there's a blank page on the back, and the blank page we'll use in about 25 minutes. So basically you can grab them, find the blank page, and then leave them alone. I'm looking for my water. So to do this, I just said all this stuff that I think sounded really great. But the deal is we got to figure out as a way to work as a group to create your stories. So I'm serious about we're going to play. I'm going to ask you, I think we're at a good enough age that play sounds good. So raise your hand if you think play sounds good. Thank you. I got a majority going. Excellent. So because we still have to learn how to respond to each other, to hear each other as we create these stories. So I'm going to take us through a couple of exercises, which include being here in this room and perhaps walking out. Then we're going to create some skits. And then we're going to say, well, what do we think about them? What do we think about these skits? Because they're the material for your presentation. Because again, it's about your experience. I need a quick time check.
10:30.
10:30. Excellent. Thank you. All right. I'm a little behind. So with that, put those notebooks down. Close them up. Stand up. Yes. So there are conditions. The reason I asked you to appreciate your colleagues is whenever we're doing something new and even playing, particularly as we go out into middle school and high school, and again into graduate school, universities, funding agencies, they kind of look at me like, what? Play? Are you serious? It's like, yeah, it's really good for us. We like each other better when we play. It's very true. So we're going to do a simple exercise at first, right? This is one that I've led at bunches of different conferences, and it's called a synchronized clap. But actually, I think we're going to do something else first. This is the improviser. An improviser responds to the moment. I'm looking at you, and I'm saying, what do we need to be able to do together? I want us to do the wave. I think the wave is kind of cool because everybody that's ever a part of a team does the wave, and you guys are part of the CSO team. So we're going to start on the left, and we're going to start a wave, and it's going to run across the room, and then it's going to run back, and we're going to see if it can beat me. All right? Are you ready? The CSO wave. Let's go. You're ahead of me. Woo! And back again. Woo! Woo! That was pretty good. Round of applause to yourself. And all right, that's the wave. All right, so now here's another challenge. So this one is related to a video by Strogatz, is his last name. He's a mathematician. He gave a video on synchronicity. All right, so I'm just going to ask you to start applauding lightly first. Go ahead, start applauding. Yep, just applaud. Now synchronize your applause. How's that feel? We should do it again? What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and are we starting out the same way, loose first?
Yeah.
All right, so just start clapping. All right, synchronize. Excellent. Do you notice what happened? What did you notice happening? We picked up speed. What else? Ooh, okay. Louder.
More smiling.
More smiling. This area, somebody said something. I'll come over. Woo. Okay, we're going to develop our voices. What was it over? We stayed at a constant pace? What else?
Our hands started hurting.
Our hands started hurting. Yeah, so all of those things. And the thing about improv and doing things together, you have a different experience. I hope not to ask you a question that has a right answer. Right? So often people say there's no stupid question, but they have a particular answer, and so then when you don't get it, you feel kind of stupid. So I hope to never ask you a question where I have a particular answer. I am really sincerely interested in what your experience was, what you saw. So some of the things, so we picked a speed, but did you notice at the end, we started to lose it a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah? What do you think that was? And again, there's not a certain answer. What do you think that was? How come? Speed? What else?
Got tired.
Got tired?
Started focusing on what we were doing instead of listening to the whole group game.
Oh.
Some of us were like, oh, I got really fast. Other people were playing too.
I think all of those. All of those. That we started to go fast, someone was like, oh, can we go faster? Then the group has to catch up again, right? The group is trying to, because you're listening. They're like, hey, I was listening, I was in there, wait a minute, where did we go? So this is life, right? The practice of figuring out how to synchronize with one another. We could do it again, but we have a different exercise to go on to. And what we're going to do, so, improviser's bag. Let's move out of, are you open to working? Let's work, and people know, you've just met each other again after being online together, is that right? Ooh, louder some things. Do you feel like you know each other already? Who knows more than 5 names? Excellent, great. So we're going into the hallway now. Join me. You're going to say your name to your circle, just your first name. Can you guys still hear me in the back? Yeah. Excellent. So you're going to say your name to your circle. In fact, let's just do that part right now. Make a full circle. The person closest to me start. Just say your name, go around to the left.
My name's Avery.
Make sure people hear you.
Hannah.
Doesn't matter if you're done, wave at me. If you went, wave at me. Great. If you finish your circle, wave at me. Excellent. So now, what you're gonna do, I need someone to be my volunteer. Young man, I'm gonna choose you. What is your name?
Me?
Yes, is that okay?
Hakeem.
Hakeem, thank you. I've just volunteered Hakeem. What an adult thing to do, right? Sorry. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually point to somebody in your group and you're going to say their name, right? So if I say Hakeem, he's like, yeah, that's great. And then he points to somebody else and he says their name. But if I get it wrong or if I hesitate, right? If I start going, or if I said Harold, it's not Harold. The whole group throws up their hands. Everybody throw up your hands and say, yay, we failed. Exactly, you guys are the best yay we failed I've ever had. Awesome, that's awesome. Okay, so one more time. So if you get it right, what happens? It keeps going. When you get it wrong or you hesitate, what happens? Yay, we failed. Now let's practice that one more time. Yay, we failed. Excellent. All right, so let's see how that goes. Begin. If you start reading, if you're reading, you're hesitating, aren't you? And then yay. So celebrate. Try celebrate. Let's try it. Let's see how it goes. Begin.
All right.
Begin. Yay, we failed. Still soon. Yay, we failed. That's a pause too. That's a pause too. Oh, okay. Yeah, we failed. Yay, we failed.
Nicholas. Marcus. Mari.
Yay, we failed. There's a pause.
It's a hard decision.
Okay, freeze. Freeze. Yay. Freeze means stop. How's it going? Terrible. Okay, so what's terrible? Oh, wait. So if you failed, what is it? Yay, we failed. It's hard to decide. What else is happening? You don't know each other's name. Okay, we're going to do this one more time. So here, you have something to say. Tell me.
You're just hesitant to talk to each other.
You're just hesitant to talk to each other. Do you think it would... So we could change it to not your names, but I think names are kind of good. Color, yeah, you want to cheat. So this is the thing. What happens when you make a mistake? Yay! Okay. So how does it? Do you take it? Is it personal? No. Is there a fun part in this at all? Yeah. Oh, there is. What's fun? Failing. Okay. So let's emphasize the kid in this, right? And I ask adults. Everyone. Practice failing gleefully. There's a TED Talk by a designer from Google X, and he's saying, we are on the moon hunt. We're the group that gets to shoot for the moon. Guess what? There's tons of failure in that. Yay! We failed! They're making, driverless cars. Why? Because they failed at something else. Seriously, they failed at something else, and that's how they got there. So right now, I want you to practice with each other. Don't worry about who you pick, just because to support the group. Support the group having a rhythm. Try to go for a rhythm in your group. So do you know what I mean by going for a rhythm? Just keep a pace. Just like when we were clapping and we got a pace, keep a pace. Keep a pace in your group and see how that goes. All right? Begin.
Richard.
Mark.
Mari.
Yay! We failed! Let's applause.
Natalie.
Oh.
Yay, we failed!
Okay.
Marcus?
Yay, we failed.
is challenging. You guys are too serious. You're very serious. It's quite challenging. So I'm trying to figure out how to up the lack of seriousness for the moment. The lack of fear. This fear is going on. Okay, so we're gonna go. So this is right back. Okay, we're gonna do something that has never happened before, and we're going to do it here for sake of time. I have, as an improviser, I am given a bag. This bag has many things in it. Somebody, I heard a groan. Does somebody know this game? You do? Excellent. Will you come help me with it? And I might be playing a game slightly different than you do. Okay? So just to give it that. So in my bag are many wonderful things. In fact, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for holding back to me. You're going to want to put that down now, because I'm going to give this to you. I have a beautiful puppy. I have a beautiful puppy. And so I'm going to walk over to my volunteer, and I'm going to give him my beautiful puppy. And he's going to say, and I say, beautiful puppy. And you take it the same way I'm holding it, and you say, beautiful puppy, thank you.
Beautiful puppy, thank you.
Excellent. Round of applause for him. He's going to walk up to somebody and he's going to give them the beautiful puppy. And that person's going to say what? Beautiful puppy. Thank you. Exactly. And it continues. Let's see how it goes. Go ahead. Excellent. Excellent. And it's going to keep going. And now, here comes. It's a hot air balloon. This is a sweet orange. Sweet orange. Thank you. Now give it to somebody.
Just hot air balloon. Sweet orange.
It's a saber. A saber. It's just a saber. Saber. Actually, give it to somebody.
Mess up that name at least 4 times.
You can go to different groups. Go to different groups. Just take a favorite. Thank you. And give it. Try to give something to everybody. You ate it!
It was a sweet orange.
It was a sweet, okay, I'm sorry for all the rest of you who didn't get the sweet orange. It was eaten. Saber?
What's my hair?
A saber? Hot air balloon? Excellent. What did I miss something?
The puppy.
The puppy!
I got Steve.
The puppy and the skateboard. And the hula hoop.
There was all this.
All right. So I'm gonna ask us, so what was it like, and are we okay doing it this way? Are you guys okay with me talking, us being in the room this way? So what was it like to give something to someone? It was weird.
Some people didn't know how to use it, so they just give it to somebody else.
Hold on. Okay, so this is what I heard, and this is the challenge. CSO leaders, this is the challenge we have. How do we, as a group, support hearing everyone's voice? Like, I love that you're excited. I love that we're playing. And in the midst of the things that we're passionate about, we still want to hear each other, right? So it's not, I don't want to give you the rules about it. We collectively have to create that, right? So let's work on how we do that. that sound okay? Yeah. Cool. One of the things I heard was you didn't know what to do, so you gave it to someone. And yet that was the game, right? So what about saying thank you? What was that like? Giving it, saying thank you, or receiving thank you?
Shows manners.
It shows manners, same, what's same?
Shows respect.
Yeah.
What about eye contact?
Well, so they said the same. What, did you play?
I did.
You played, yay! So what about eye contact?
I'm just curious about how some of the students are feeling about making eye contact with each other when you pass the gift, because there are different levels of participation.
So I think that might tie into same, I'm guessing. But what same, you guys say a little?
Who said same?
No, I said saying, not saying.
Oh, saying.
Oh, same. Okay. So here's the thing. One of the other things that people said was, well, all those things were here, and how do you actually make use of all the things or get to experience all the things that are there unless you are moving around, making offers, and accepting them? So improv is not about being funny. Believe it or not, it's not about being silly. It is about making connections to one another and giving and receiving to make each other look good. So it's a very particular kind of play to make each other look good. Okay? And we're going to continue this in a different fashion. We're going to ask us to go back into the room.